Painting Parties. I'm Liza, and I'm here to host our weekly paint session. So every Wednesday I come to you live and we'll recreate a painting that you all vote on as your favorite, and then I paint it for the first time live here, and I walk you through how I would go about recreating it. So anyone who hasn't joined before, the way this usually works is I put up 3 different options on the Facebook page on Saturday prior to the live show, and basically you guys choose the one that you like the best. You vote on it, and the one with the most votes by the Tuesday prior is the one that we paint together live. So the painting this week that won out was this one right here. It's really pretty one of Niagara Falls. The Canadian Falls, I must say, our side of it, you know, just a little bit nicer. I'm a little biased on that one, but it's very colorful, it's very pretty, and it's going to be really fun to paint. And so I'll walk you through how I'm going to approach recreating this one. I'm going to stick similarly to what we see here. I want a lot of color happening. I want it to look really pretty and like a lot of motion, so I'll walk you through how to go about recreating this. So please feel free to add your own and you want to just follow along, then I'll walk you through how I'll recreate it. If any of you who have done things before and want to put any tips or tricks or any suggestions, feel free to put that in the comments. I love to see what other people are doing and saying. I'm not a professional painter. I just really enjoy doing it. I love to share my love of it with all of you. So definitely feel free if you have a different technique or different approach or anything that you would like to share. Hi, Astrid. Hi, Kathy. Hey, cuz. Awesome. Good. Cool. Perfect. So yeah, so we'll get started in just a few more minutes. So it's about, probably give it another like 5-6 minutes or so, just to make sure anyone who wants to paint live will be able to have the opportunity to do so. Right now, it is a beautiful day here. I'm close to Toronto, in Ontario, Canada, and it's so nice that my son and I took a beautiful walk today after he was done his online classes and stuff. And so I feel like it's not going to have that many people. It's like the first day in a while that's been like really beautiful. So I think everyone's outside enjoying it. So if you end up jumping on and you really want to paint this, but this is not a good time for you, you can feel free to watch this. This will be available on my YouTube channel under Liza's Painting Parties, or under the videos tab on the Facebook page, and you'll be able to watch it afterwards too. So you can do it whenever is more convenient, wait for a rainy day, whatever you so desire. If you do paint at any point though, I love to see what you've painted, so please snap a picture when you've painted your creation and share it with me, because I love to see what everyone does, because everyone tends to do like their own style, their own like vibe of it, so it's so fun to see that. So I'll walk through what supplies we're going to be using today, which is always the same. I try to make it as simple and straightforward as possible so that anyone who's starting to paint, anyone who's a beginner painter, like it doesn't take a lot of cost investment to get going. You can get all your supplies from the dollar store like I do, or canvases from like, I have these ones from Desserts, which is like an art supply company, or from Amazon as well. So I use a canvas board. This is an 11 by 14. I just like the size for most of my canvas, for all of my parties basically I use the size, and I like that it's a canvas board because it's really easy for me to store and the quality is still quite good, so that's why I go with this. But you can use regular canvas, smaller, bigger, different size, it doesn't matter. For this one in particular, I'm going to be using it in landscape, so we want it to be more on the horizontal here, so that's the way I'm going to be doing this image. I also have our paints. So the paints that I use are acrylic paint. This paint is all from the Dollarama. So if you have yellow and red and blue and black and white, you can mix any colors from that. If you have other pre-mixed colors, that's totally fine as well. So you can definitely dip into those as you desire. But if you have the basic colors, or if you do want to decide to invest in something more than the dollar store ones, you can always just grab your like main primary colors, black and white. That's what I would always suggest, and then you can kind of go from there. Cool. So I have acrylic. I have some water containers. I have paper towel. I have my palette. Gets dirtier and dirtier each and every time. And I have I suggest to have at least 3 paint brushes. One that is nice and large, one that is medium, and one that is a fine point. So, and I don't usually specify the size because it really depends on the size of canvas that you're going for. The one that I'm using, since I'm using an 11 by 14, my big brush is at size 10, and it's kind of like a round but flat. This one's a size 2 for my medium, and this is technically a size 4 for my fine point, but it gives me a really good point, better than my ones that are like a 2 or a 1 or something. So I really like the fine point on that one. So those are the ones I'm using, and I have other brushes too I might dip into depending on how the mood strikes. And I suggest you do the same thing. A lot of times it's just like whatever you feel comfortable in. Sometimes a brush that may seem really large or really small might work really well for you. So I would say just get comfortable and see what works well for you. Hi, Pamela. You went there 30 years ago. Is it really the camera shot you got? That's so cool. That's awesome. I love Niagara Falls. It's so beautiful there. That was actually one of the last like big trips my husband and my son took before all of this stuff happened with COVID and whatnot. And we went for like, I think it was just like an overnight. I don't know if it was a 1 night or 2 night, I can't remember. But we did one of those like Groupon deals where like you get like an accommodation, but the accommodation was like at a place that had like an indoor water park, which was really cool. And then you got some passes to do other things and whatnot. So that was really fun. And I'm really glad we did that because then everything just kind of went away. But it was super fun. That was like in 2019, I must have been. But yeah, so beautiful, so pretty. So this is going to be really nice. I love how it has so many colors in it. And the colors in the water, I'm talking about the painting, but you can't see it. I should hold it up again. So the colors in the water are reflecting the sky really nicely. So you'll notice that there's like, you know, the orange and the yellows, the lighter blues are all the same colors that you're seeing back down here. And so that's really nice. So we want to kind of keep that going. So whatever colors we use to make this like sunset kind of vibe, which is what I'm saying, like if you end up going with like a different color palette, whatever you use up here should still be reflected in the water to just give that balance and the continuity, and it will just make the piece kind of all come together nicely. So keep that in mind. When we start this picture, we are going to start with what is furthest in the background. So we're going to start with the sky. So you want to take a look at your canvas and start to think about how big and where things are going to land from our inspiration image. So when I look at like the sky portion, it's about like a quarter to like a fifth of the, I'm going to do about a quarter probably. So that's basically the sky. So that's going to be as much as I'm going to give it to the sky. And then we have a bit of land happening. And then we have that curve of the water. And the curve is very tight to the horizon line. And then it curves and then it kind of comes this way to the front corner, right? So we'll be playing with that a little bit afterwards. So first thing is first is we're going to do that background. And then we're going to build from there. So it's looks a lot more crazier than it will be. It's going to be really fun, and I think you'll really enjoy doing this one. Oh, fantastic. 19. Aww. That's so nice to hear. Thanks for sharing that, Pamela. Yes, I'm painting the Niagara Falls picture tonight. That is the one we are doing. We're doing this one. So again, like I said before, if anyone missed it, so I have never painted this one before. So anytime I do one of these paint nights, it's the first time that I'm going to be creating it as well, and I'm walking you through how I'll be recreating it. So this image is not my own. This is one I found online, and it's so beautiful, and I was so excited to try it. So I hope you'll enjoy it and have fun with me too. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put that here. I'm going to move the camera so you can actually see it. I also suggest if you're a bit of a control freak like me, you might want to grab a screenshot of that picture from yesterday's post when I put the winner, just so you have that available for you for reference. I will move the camera so you can see it on the iPad as I'm painting, but sometimes, you know, it's not as nice and you have right there. Oh, did you? That's fantastic. Yeah, I've seen some, there's some such pretty pictures. People do a lot of really beautiful images, and I've seen a few for this one, which is pretty nice. All right, cool. So we're going to get started. And ready to go. All right, so I'm going to first put my hair up because that's important. I don't need paint in my hair today. And then we'll start getting some colors down. So on your paint palette, we can start off by putting some blue, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, some yellow. I went for my yellow first before my white, but that's okay. Some white. And I'll show you how much I'm putting on my palette in a moment. I'm just going to pop it on first. I'm going to put some red so I can get that orangey color happening too. If you have a pre-mixed orange, you could use that alternately too. I'm going to grab some of my pre-mixed orange too. Oh man, maybe I won't. Oh, the cheap paint dries so fast. That's my cheap paint drying song. Get that going. There you go. Okay, just gonna use some of that. I'm running out of some of my basic colors. I have to still go and grab some. So there we go. So we have a mix of some of the colors there. So white, blue, yellow. I have some pre-mixed orange, but you can also mix the orange, the yellow, and the red together to make that. I might end up doing a bit of that too. Okay, so now let's get this going. That and like so. Just bring you a little bit closer without spilling the water in the process. Okay. Okay, so about the top quarter of it is going to be our beautiful sky. So I'm going to start with my big brush here. I'm going to start off by putting a little bit of water on the canvas just to wet it. So I'm going to wet that quarter section. And what this will do, it will just let the paint go on the canvas very smoothly. And it'll let the blending happening a lot easier. You don't want to put a lot of water, just damp it. So I'm just going to get my paper towel and just like mop up some of the excess, just so it's not too wet. If it's too wet, then it just becomes not fun. It doesn't give what I want either. Okay, so I'm going to start off by putting some white on here. So I'm going to get a big dollop of white, and I'm going to go kind of like almost to the top, and I'm just going to start to put in some white. This part's the hard part to see because you can't really see anything when I'm painting, but I'm just putting like maybe about like 5 centimeters or so of white paint along the top. And then I'm just going to dip my brush into my blue, and I'm just going to start putting a little bit of that blue to the very top. So I'm putting it right on top of the white that I just painted. And when I do this, it mixes with the white paint, so I'm getting a very nice light blue happening. And I'm also making sure I'm painting the top. So if you have like a full-on canvas, make sure you paint the sides and the top and the bottom of it. So when it hangs, everything looks nice and continuous. And I'm just going to bring it down into my white a little bit like that. So I have a nice, very light blue. Yay, Jody! I'm so excited that you're here. Okay, so I'm putting more white now, just to kind of continue it down. Okay. Now that I have it and it's pretty much white, so I don't want a green, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't want to put yellow on and it to go into my blue and then for me to get a green. I don't want that to happen. So I need a little bit of an in-between, like right here, where I'm gonna, before I put my yellow, And it'll give me a break from that blue so that we can have a nice clean yellow that blends into this white. Oh, I see a question, sorry. How much white did I do again? So when I started, I just put like, it was pretty much like the width of my brush, if that's helpful at all, compared to my finger size. I don't know if that helps or not, of white along the top. And then I just put a little dabs of blue in it, and that allowed it to very nice and lightly create like a nice glow of blue happening there. Hi, Joe. Oh, shoot, Jody. You got locked out of your account? That's frustrating. Sorry, what I'm doing now is I got some yellow. So I put in another little buffer of the white so that my yellow that I'm going to put in now isn't going to touch my blue, because I don't want green to happen. And I'm going to start putting in yellow just under my white first, and then I'm going to start, once I have a good groove on that, I'm going to pull it up into that white area. Not too far, because again, I don't want it to be green. I want to stay in that white zone. And now I have this like bright yellow happening here. I don't want it to be like a super straight line. I want to make it a little bit higher on this side. A bit more natural. Get some white. Run some white in here. Okay. Oh shoot, that sucks. I think I want this to be a little bit more blue, so I'm just gonna go back and just make it a little bit more blue at the top here. I'm just clearing, I'm still using the same brush, but I'm just cleaning it off with paper towel when I'm going back to this blue, because I just wanted it a little bit darker, and I want it to come down a little bit more than what it did. But again, I don't want green, so I'm just being very cautious of that. I'm just getting white, just a little bit of blue, and make that a little touch darker. It's going into my yellow. It's okay. How is there an ant in this room? I have ants like all over my house. It's ridiculous. Mostly, well, actually all over. They're like in the kitchen, but right now I have one in this room, which I'm not digging. Go away, ant. I don't want you here. Not cool. Awesome. So from this yellow, we're going to go into an orange. And I'm already getting a little bigger than I want to get here. So I'm going to start putting in a little bit more white. Just so I can get a bit of a blend happening. And I like to use white as a base because I want the sky to be very like blended nicely, but I don't want it to be like super bright. I still want it to be a little dulled out a little bit. Okay. Okay, now we need to get our orange in here. Start mixing it into this white area, but also into our yellow. It's okay if it goes a little bit low because we're going to be putting in our horizon line and stuff, so it's all good. Okay, and I'm going to go back and get my yellow and just blend it in a little bit. All right. If you are mixing, you can either mix first on your palette if you would like, or you can mix it on your canvas as you go. So you would put basically more yellow all the way down to wherever you want your horizon to be. And then you would want to touch a little bit of red into the yellow and start mixing an orange on your canvas if you want to do it that way. Okay. Put some more yellow back in here. A little too bright right there. So I want to kind of keep it a little streaky and wispy, and I want to have the yellow kind of coming into my orange a bit, so touching it slightly. And it's all wet, so if I want my yellow to stay, I need to kind of keep reapplying it to my brush, otherwise it will just blend right into my orange. I think I'm pretty happy with this so far. I feel like I want to bring the sky lower, but I have to keep in mind that that's not what this image is about. This image is all about that water. That beautiful, beautiful cascading waterfall. It's like so amazing. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we want to wait for this to dry. Once it dries, so if you're using, if you want, you can use like a hair dryer to dry it faster if you so desire, or just let it air dry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build our land in the background. So we'll need black to kind of give that silhouette of that land happening. It is better to wait until it's fully dry, because if you try to do it when it's wet, it's just going to be annoying and you're going to have to like reapply black on top. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. But I'm going to put some black on my palette just to get started. And get it all over my hands at the same time. That's how you know. Okay. Okay. And then in our inspiration image, it definitely goes higher on the side. It's higher and it's not straight. Like, it definitely looks like there's like trees and just some maybe buildings, but it's very like bumpy and like it's not like a straight line. So we want to have that same vibe of like kind of a rough terrain, like just like maybe some tops of trees and some other things happening in the background there. And then it goes a lot thinner as we get closer to the middle where our sun is going to be, and we'll put that in afterwards after this dries as well. So if the land doesn't just keep being high, it's very high on the side of it. It gets a bit thinner with a little bit of bumpiness. This side has a bit more, but it's a little bit lower than the other side. And then we want to have just like a little line of land in the middle there. So I'm almost at the point where I can put in some of it because this side's pretty dry, which is nice. This side is not, but I think what I'm going to do is it is dry enough where I want to kind of put my guiding line of where I want my land to live. So for this one, I'm going to use my medium brush because my medium brush that I use is it's a flat brush, so it can be quite thin and it gives me a lot of good control. So I'm going to use that one to start putting in my like horizon line with the black paint. So I'm just going to get black on my brush And it's just tricky to do it upright. If you're sitting down and you have it flat, it's a lot easier, or you can put like a guide just to kind of see how you want it. So I think I want it, where do I want it? Okay. The middle's going to be about here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, this line, because we're going to give it more character on the top, and we're going to have some of the water as well. So just try to eyeball it, or you can use a guide, like another piece of paper, just to kind of give you more of a straight line, if you'd like to. So on this side, I'm going to start to build up some of my land. So I'm just going to start to pull up. How high do I want this? Maybe like here. So I'm just going to make some kind of like rough edges, just to start giving this feeling of maybe trees, maybe mostly like trees. I actually don't remember what's across there. I think that side is buffalo, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. I think that's, you can see buffalo, but I don't know if you can actually, I don't think you can see the city. I think it's like the suburbs. I think it's mostly trees and stuff that you can see. Anyone else? Get that pretty straight, and then I'll start coming up a little bit. And this one kind of comes up more pokey. I'm gonna make a little like mountainy kind of ridge here. Bring it across. Okay, so I think I like that, and you can always touch it up however you so desire. Try to make it as, I want it to be as like dark as possible, so it's fully solid. You can't see the sky behind it or anything. It's just fully black, so it just has like a nice land vibe happening. Okay, so there we go. And I think it's straight enough for my liking. Coolio. Alright. So we are going to use a little bit more black in some of the reflections in the water, but not too much of it. So we don't need much black at all, which is nice. So if you're using, make sure you clean your brush out really well, because black, even just a little bit, can really overpower other colors. It's very powerful. So you just got to be cautious, make sure it's clean, and we use it appropriately. Okay, pretty nice. We got a nice sky, a nice little land formation happening. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm not going to put the sun in right now. You can if you want to. It's up to you. If you are going to put the sun in, I would just put the orb, like the white orb. But there's like little like sun rays that are kind of coming from there. But you'll see that it actually go like on top of where the water is. So I wouldn't do that yet. I would wait until almost the end, really, to put that on to get that vibe in. So I'm not going to do that right now. So now, what we need to look at now is, I'm just going to go for a second. What we need to look at now is, we need to look at where we want the actual like waterfall here, the actual curve of Niagara Falls to land. And so the way we're going to do this is, you can pick really any color if you want, because it's going to be, we're going to use a lot of white to get that going, but we're going to use some blues so we can actually see the cascading happening. So it's up to you. I would probably either go with like a really light, you know what, you could just go with blue. Kind of thinking, you know what, I'm going to just use blue, like my full-on dark blue, to give me my line, just to give me where I want it to go, because we're going to need to use some of it anyways, and then we'll be able to build on top of that. So let's do that. Okay, so also with my medium brush is how I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab, and I'm just using my medium brush because, again, I have pretty good control with it, more so than my fine point brush. So if your fine point one works better, that's great, use that. I just find I have to always keep reapplying paint to it, and I don't want to deal with that right now. So with this, it's going to be kind of like the curve of our falls. So if you notice, it's very close to our horizon line. So I'm just going to go just below it. It's just a guide. Okay, so I'm going to have this line is going to be pretty much across here until we get just past, or just at where our sun's going to live. So kind of like here-ish. And this is where we start to see it slightly veer off. All right, and then we have it, you want it further maybe? No, I think that's good. Okay, and then we need it to, and it's just a guide, because we can still cover it up, we can still play with it. We'll see that it kind of comes like that ish. That's how we're going to work on this, just to give us a guide, right? So basically, like in here, all the water, everything's going to flow, and I am going to play with it a little bit just to give my brain an idea. So I'm going to have all the water cascading. It's going to cascade like that. I'm not going to see it, and it's going to cascade here too, and then all of this is going to be straight and wavy. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I know that looks really high tech, right? Looks pretty good, right? Anyone running in, I was like, she doesn't know what she's doing. Amateur hour. Okay, so that's going to give our guide. That's all I want, just to give a guide. So I'm going to just clear off that brush. Am I going to go back to my big brush? I might, just for some more coverage. I think I might. Because here it's very like, you hardly see that, but we do need a little bit of that blue just to give us that line. And then we have like some mist happening, and it's like so pretty and crazy. Okay, but I think I am going to use, you know what, I'm going to use my medium brush, and I'm just going to do what? I'm going to just add, just kind of connect it up here. To my land, and I might still add more. It's going to be misty afterwards anyways, but I just want to have a base because I don't want to see my canvas pop out or forget that it exists there. I don't want that to happen. We can always add some color on top of that afterwards. Okay, just to like connect it. It's all good. Thanks, Tracy. I'm glad you think it looks wonderful, because right now it looks kind of funny. Looks funny to me, but we need a guide. We need a guide to be able to go from it, right? Okay. So, I don't know if I'm going to use my big brush or, yeah, I have a, oh no, just push all my paint brushes into my paint. Clean the handle. Only the one got on the handle, so that's fine. Okay, so I have another brush that's like a medium brush. It's a slightly bigger one. The one I used before was like a number 2, and this is a number 4. So it's like it's slightly bigger. So I'm going to go with that one for now. But you could use like your big old brush or another one. It could work fine. Okay, so with this, I want to start putting in some of the colors. So we're obviously going to be using a lot of different colors. We're going to be using blue, different variations of blue, like a dark blue, a medium blue, a light blue, maybe even some like purple perhaps. I see some yellow. I see a little bit of green. I even see some pink. I see some orange. I see some green. All the colors kind of come in more in this front area here, although there is a little bit of touch in the back there. So I'm going to start to just play and put in my blue. So I'm going to continue with what I was doing on the other side and just like bring the blue up to my land. So I just separate my land from my water so I can play with it nicer. Okay. So part of me is thinking I kind of want to put like a base of blue on and then just like build on top of that. I might do that. I think I'm going to do that. Just going to do this gradually and see if I want to start putting other colors as I go. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about doing full coverage. I'm going to start putting some of this blue. Maybe some gaps, and we'll be able to fill in some of the gaps with some other colors afterwards. So yeah, let's just play with that. Put some blue on here. And what I'm noticing is that it's a lot more blue on the side, but then on this curve, you're getting a lot of different colors happening. There's like no blue happening on this curve. Slightly here, but a lot of it's yellow, and there's some pink, and there's like some like, I want to say like green. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Let's just put in some. Oh, awesome, Trace. Trace says that the outline brought the vision to her. I couldn't see at first how you would conquer that part, right? Okay, good. I'm glad. I was like second guess myself. I'm like, is that going to turn out the way I want it to turn out? Okay. So I'm not going super solid because I want to start getting, just in my own head, these ripples and the vibe of the water. And if I just do it solid, I don't think I'm going to keep going with the flow of it. And it's not solid blue. It has a lot of different colors in it. So I'm just going to bring in this. I don't know if I want to stop here and then play with it a bit more. Maybe. Okay. So if I get some white, I'm just going to mix it a little bit into my blue. I know I have a little bit of white on here. Not enough though, not enough to make an impact. Okay, so I want to put in some of this. Okay, so I'm just bringing some of this light blue over the edge. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lori. I don't usually wear long earrings. I was in the mood. Something struck today. I was like, you know, today's the day. Okay, so I'm just going in with some lighter blue to fill in some of the areas here. Just to start playing with some of the differences in color and just to get the feeling of this water. I'm going back with the darker blue now. I might go in and put some darker blue here first, but I'm going to have to change that afterwards. I want to start getting this vibe. But I don't want to go with yellow because then the yellow will make it more green. I don't want to do that. So that's my thought process out loud. But maybe we can do a little bit of purple in the background. Okay, yeah, I'm putting some red into my blue. Just a little bit, just to make kind of like a dirty purple. Oh, that's red. I don't think I want red. It's like red in the water. I always think there's like blood in the water. It's very morbid. Purple's okay. The little strips of purple. Maybe along the back here. That's alright. Okay. I'm going to bring some of them a little bit lower. Okay. Okay. Now, dun dun dun. Okay. I want to play a little bit with, I still want that light blue because I want to start bring some of this water. I want to start building this ridge. So I'm just going to go, I don't even know. Okay. It's pretty much white, so it's very weird, but okay. I'm just going to go along, and I'm just trying to take a look. It kind of goes straight. So here we want like this kind of vibe. We want it to be just like the water is going to kind of be a bit puffy up here. Puffy for lack of a better word, and then everything kind of just goes straight down. I'm gonna have to go over with white afterwards and really blend it and get this vibe happening, and it kind of keeps going. Okay, weird, but it's making it make sense to me. Okay. I want all this to go like that. This is going to curve down. Just using like a dry brush just to kind of keep getting my, right? And then it ends up like at the bottom here. It doesn't go all the way down, right? Like it kind of like, there's like, oh, that's last week's. Apparently the tip of my brush can make that move. Okay. So it kind of like here, I'm just going to put this in and I'll tell you. So what I'm doing here is like, this is where it kind of like crashes down and we start getting like mistiness happening, right? You want it to kind of come a little more like that. So that's where all the mistiness is happening. Okay, so I need to get more white. Oh no, Jody! Go get your dog! I apologize if I'm not making so much sense. I'm kind of like working it out as I'm talking through it. I just need to get that vibe going, and I'm going to get white. So now that I've put this blue paint on here, in this way I want to go, I'm going to go get my big brush. I'm going to get my white paint, and I want to start putting in my white paint. Okay, so this is all going to come down. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's just get this white paint, and then I'm going to put in some streaks of color. Okay, let's get some white. We need the white paint on here to cover the canvas, and then we can start blending the other. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about the front here because we'll cover some of that as we go. And down here is all like mist. Misty, misty, mistiness. Which we can't even tell right now because it's white and no one can see anything. Okay. Alright, now that I have white paint on here, I'm going to play with colors and we are going to make it look so cool. Okay. Or we're going to try at least. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so first. Okay, so I'm going to just bring blue, which isn't really where we want to go, but we're going to start with blue. Down. Okay. Just going to clean up that line I made before, just to make it look like it's let's get more white in here. Is that working? Yeah, that's working. So I'm trying to work a little quickly because I don't want that white paint that I just put on. I don't want that to dry. So I want my lines that I'm bringing over the falls to blend in with it nicely. Okay, my lines are a little thick, but it's getting the feeling of it. Okay, so we have that going, and then I know there's like it's a little bit of blue on this side, so you guys can still see that. Okay, so I just want to put some blue here, mix in with my white because it's like misty. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of blend this. I'm trying to blend it again quickly because my white paint has dried pretty fast. I'm just putting the blue on top. Alright, and this is gonna give it like the depth so it looks like there's like a pool of water down here where we put the darker blue. But But we don't want it to be like a defined because it's all mist. So I'm just gonna throw in this color, and then I'm gonna like put a little bit more up here, and I get some white, and then just like not worry about the way it looks, just kind of just start to get some of this vibe in here. It needs to come further though. It's blue, and it comes here. Okay, so not any more white. I'm putting white. So it's starting to give that like depth to it. I don't know if I like this part here. Let's maybe dull that down a little bit. Some more white. That's working. That's good. Okay. All right. Not too bad. Okay. So I think this has created that perspective a bit, although I feel like I don't have nearly enough paint on this canvas as I should, but I'm digging the feeling of it is. So I'm going to move away from that from a little bit because I want to put in some more colors in the water up here, and then we can continue playing. How's everyone else doing? It's kind of tricky. I apologize for not talking more, but I think I'm still going to go back over this and do some more with it. Okay, so let me get some yellow now. So I want to put some yellow. So I want to put some kind of like kissing some areas here. And then I want it to come on this edge like this. And it's coming down. I'm using my medium brush, but the thinner one. This gives me more control over how thin my lines are, which I like. I feel like I'm not going so severe in my lines, and I should be going more severe, like more of a drop. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Susan. Awesome, Christina. Oh, thank you, Tracy. I'm hoping I'm explaining it okay as I'm going, because like I said, when I do these videos, this is the first time I'm painting it, so I'm also processing what I'm doing at the same time as me saying it out loud, and that's why I get quiet sometimes, because I don't actually know the best approach to say it and if it's going to make sense. So hopefully it's helping. I'm just putting like little touches of yellow in certain spots, although I'm realizing, like I said, like I think I need to make my lines more straight down. Like, it needs to go brr, brr, and I made them too, like, wee. As opposed to bah. You know what I mean? And I think some of you actually do, which is pretty cool, which is why you watch me. You're like, I got you. And your weird sounds. Alright, so I want it to come like, bow, like that. More falling down straight away. I could change some of those lines. And I'll do that with the blue in a moment too. Let's start getting more white down here then. I need more blue too. Oh shoot. Did not want to get paint on my pants, and I did. I forgot the first rule of painting. Don't wear clothes you don't want to get paint on. Silly, silly. Let's just put some. Okay. So I do have that YouTube channel on again with just like nature noises in the background, but I also have the window open, and there are like the continuous bird chirping is like the YouTube channel, but like every once in a while you'll hear like another bird kind of have a go at it, and that's the one that's from outside, which is kind of cool. Okay, I think we need to put some more colors in there. Okay, let's grab that. Oh my gosh, is that orange already dry? Oh, there we go. Okay, put a little bit of this orange. Eee, okay, this orange is so bright. Yeah. It's a little scary. I want to go a little bit further down, but I don't want it to look weird. Okay, some more lines, like little lines, a little bit here and a little bit there. So I'm going off the page a little bit. Okay, so got little lines happening. Cool. Okay, shall we? Let's bring this further down, and then we'll continue to layer more and more and more and more paint as we go. The strokes in the front are a lot more, they're a lot thicker, and that's going to be fun to do. Here they're a lot like thinner. That's going to be a bit of a change. It'll be fun. Okay, so I suppose I could put some right now and we could just go crazy. Shall we go crazy? Why not? Why not? I'm feeling a little crazy today. Okay, I'm going to put in some orange, like right here. And then maybe it will stay there. Maybe it will get painted over. Who knows? It's going to be a little curvy line. Big curvy orange line just on straight old canvas. Anyone who's painted before knows I don't usually just randomly paint right on canvas like that. I usually prep it or put a background first. I won't just like start putting in random color. Well, we're doing that today. We're just gonna play with the orange a little bit and put a little bit of streaks in here. I'm feeling a little wild. Okay, let's put some yellow. It's a color play. Maybe mixes a little bit with that orange. The blocks of color. Don't worry about it looking like water. Don't worry about anything really. Just put different colors and have fun with it. So there's some yellow. Maybe there'll be some more yellow here. Mixes a little bit into that orange a bit. Trying to make it like a little bit like wavy. I don't want the lines to be straight, because every time I do water I always make them like, or often I'll make them very straight. I'm trying to get this a little bit different movement. It's very funky. Okay, get some yellow on the edge. Oh, I don't want to do that too much. I want to keep it still like that. Okay. Okay, that's a lot of random colors going on. All right, let's get some. Am I gonna go with white? No, I'm not gonna go with white yet. No, I want to go with. I want some green, so you can mix some yellow and some blue together, or if you have a pre-mixed green, you can use that. I'm going to use my pre-mixed green just for ease. I'm going to put a little bit of that in here too. So I'm going to mix that here, some in here, here, touch it randomly. And get some yellow, mix it with this green. Okay, and I think I want some of this along here too, a little bit of green happening, which we didn't want before, but now I think will look good. Crazy. Okay, now let's get some blue in the party. Let's get some blue to the party. Do, 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 do. Put some blue at the party. And so I'm doing like a lot of like curves, and I'm trying to keep my lines bigger at the bottom, so just not as like thin, almost like different sections, but I still want a little bit of blending, and I'm going to play a little bit more when I put in some, I'm going to put in some white in a moment to blend a little bit out some spots anyways. I'm going to kind of fill in a lot of the areas with blue, because blue is still the prominent. I'm trying to still keep this rolliness happening. This blue I'm noticing is actually quite thin on its own. Pretty neat. Okay, I want some of that purple I made earlier, so I'm just going to mix some of that red into my blue. I want to put some of that in too. Adding some purple in these spots. With a little bit of black in some areas too. Just on the more along this side, like and kind of mixing with the purple and the blue. This area. Maybe this green too. Ooh. This is outside of my normal comfort zone. I normally don't just put colors in these random blocks, so I'm very excited that it's looking nice. And I hope you are enjoying it too. You kind of just have to just go with it and be free and just go with blocks and see what happens. I'm going to go with white now, and I'm going to go into these areas that are white, and I'm just going to like mix anything that's still kind of wet into this white. And just see what happens. So I want to start to blend and make everything look more cohesive. But a lot of the paint has already, some of it has dried and some of it has not. But I'm going to try to use the white paint and whatever happens. So like that blue is still a little wet, for example. And I'm just going to pull it along and see how it looks. Black is where I just need to be a bit cautious, because if some of the black is still wet and I pull it into this, it might just take over, so I don't want that to happen. At the same time, it will look good in some areas. And this has white area too. Neato. Okay. Okay. Nice flow going on here. Okay, so now I have this vibe happening. I'm digging it. And everything's pretty much covered. So now I would say it's a matter of like touching up the water and how you want it to be. So right now on my picture, I'll bring it a little bit closer. It looks very like rugged. It looks very like, it does look pretty cool considering it's just like little blocks of color. But I still want it to look a little bit better than that. So I think I'm going to go over some areas with like the same colors over again and just, again, play back and forth with what we did. So I'm going to go back with some blue because some of my blue is kind of see-through. So I'm just going to go back in and I'll layer up again because that white created more cohesion between the pieces, but now I want to just go in and I'll put in a little bit more. So I'm going to go and put in some more blue. And I'm being very like light with my brush. My paint is pretty dry where I'm painting on top. Some areas like that where I just touched with some white was not, and that's okay. I think no, I want to put a little bit of blue up here still. I think it got blended away a little bit too much, more than I wanted it to. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with some of the other colors. I want to keep that, you know what, actually I want to put a little bit more blue. I want to put more blue in here. I still want it to be predominantly this blue color, so I just got to make sure. I don't overpower it. Power it. Okay. I think that's good. Okay. Let's go with purple. I think I have some premix purple I'm going to use this time. Hopefully it's a little bit more opaque than when I mix some of my own together, but we shall see. It's still very thin. Okay, so I'm just going over some of the purple that I put in, and maybe adding a little bit more in certain spots. I feel like the purple's a little much. Oh, I'm so happy. Thanks, Mila. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Jody. I'm glad that you are liking it, and I hope yours are coming along nicely as well. I'm going to go in now and put some more, just touch up that yellow again. So like further away, I want like thinner lines that I can't see, and then closer, I want thicker lines. So I'm trying to keep in mind, although I'm tending to put thicker or smaller lines closer. I'm going to try not to do that. Just going backwards. I get those goosebumps every time. Okay, I got a bit more of this black happening too, because some of the black is not the way I want it. Looser. A little bit. Okay. Yep, I think it's good. Putting a little bit more black in some spots. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my blue and play more with that. So I think this process really, I think we can probably spend like hours just going back and forth on different colors and blocking out different sections and seeing if we like it like that or like this. Which is pretty cool. This is the fun part, I think, playing with all these colors. I tend to go really thin though, so it's that's the challenge for me, is that it's hard for me to have like bigger sections of one color, because I just want to keep adding like little like layers to it. I don't want to just have a big chunk of blue or a big chunk of like purple. All right, I think I'm gonna go back and get a little bit of this white and just play with that a little bit. It's white, but it's has a lot of blue. Ooh, someone's like making some delicious food outside. I can smell it, and even though I had dinner, it's making me very hungry. It smells so good. Oh my. I can't help it. I'm putting like little streaks of different of white and stuff in. That's looking good. I'm liking it. Okay, so there's still more to play with. But I think I'm feeling. How is it? It's only 7:18. I feel like I'm almost done it. This is kind of weird. Wow. Okay. I thought this was going to take like way longer than 2 hours, and I feel like I'm almost done, and it's been just over an hour. It's kind of tripping me out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put in my sun now. There's still more to do, I think, with the actual falls. I think I want to still do a bit more mistiness and stuff happening, but I don't know. I kind of dig it. Like I feel weird to almost want to leave it, but I think I'm kind of happy with it so far. I do want to. I think maybe a bit more needs to happen on top of here. I don't know. Okay, no. I'm gonna do my sun. I'm just gonna plop in where I want that guy to live. So I'm just gonna get my white paint and just make like a white orb. Okay, so I want it, I'm going to start smaller and then make it bigger. So I'm going to start small like this. And then let's make it slightly bigger as I go out. And more white. I think I'm pretty happy where that is. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for now because I think I still want to play a little bit more with the the water here and a bit more of that across like that fall that's happening on that side. I've been through so much blue today. Makes sense. But I'm trying to conserve it a little bit because I've not got a new blue paint yet. I'm going to grab some more. Okay. I just want to play a little bit more with the fall on here. Let's go back with some white. And okay. Now I want a little bit of mistiness happening along the top here, so I'm just gonna like get white and just like do some like messy lines happening. Mistiness is happening. And then some more white in here. Okay. I think I feel pretty good with that. Okay. Let's go to purple. Put some more purple. Oh, don't go away. Okay, let's grab some more. Blue. Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to put in my sun beams. With my white, and I'm just going to go out. I'll keep them more like that. Oop. Cool. Yeah, I think that is that. I'm just going to sign my name, or my initials anyway. That's better. Okay. There we go. So there we go. There is my version of Trip to Niagara Falls. So I hope you all enjoy that. I'll show you it a little bit close up. I'll take a picture of it too and add it to the site so you can see it a little bit better. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I'm really surprised that it was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. And this is definitely something that I think can take a lot longer. So I know just playing with the water and adding more layers and more textures and just doing a little bit more touch-ups, you can definitely have a lot of fun with this one and make it a very relaxing, long experience if it's something that you really enjoy. Or yeah, action just over an hour, it was pretty much done. So that was pretty cool. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the session. And again, on Saturday, there'll be 3 more options for you to vote on, and the one with the most votes by the following Tuesday at noon is the one that will be the winner, and we'll paint it live next week on Wednesday night, once again at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in having your own party, definitely reach out to me, and I'd love to be able to arrange that with you, and we can talk about those options. And other than that, have a great week. Take care, everyone. Bye!